Hey friends, Ash here with gentsscents. Hope you're doing really well. Today I wanted to go over with you guys 10 different fragrances that I fell in love with through sampling. Now, a lot of times on this channel I'll tell you, hey, you should sample first, And I don't always follow that advice. Actually, most of the time I don't. Most of the time I just blind buy things. But these fragrances here are ones that I sampled first and then bought because I fell in love with them through sampling. So let's go ahead and jump into this and check out these 10 fragrances. I'm going to leave a link in the description for each one of these fragrances at ScentSplit.com, which is a decanter where you can buy samples of fragrances before you buy the full bottle. They've got a whole bunch of fragrances on there, a whole mess load of them, of designers, niche, indie, the whole gamut. So if you're looking for a fragrance, specifically an expensive one, you're not sure if you really want to blind buy it because you might get it and hate it, which has happened to me before, then you can go to ScentSplit and check it out as a sample first. That way you can be safe and you can know when you buy it that you really love it. So each one of these a little bit different. Some of these I got samples at stores. Some of these I bought Decants online. Some of these my buddies gave me samples of. So it's all different. I'm gonna start things off with this one from Montblanc Honey Oud. This one is one that I got a 10 milliliter decant of. Used the whole thing and then immediately bought a bottle. It's got cinnamon, amber, vanilla, and of course honey and oud as some of the notes in the fragrance. And I've talked about this one a bunch over the years as one of the best fragrances that Montblanc makes, and I still fully think that. Montblanc is really well known for oud fragrances. One of the issues with some Montblanc oud fragrances though is that it comes across really screechy. The oud in them comes across really screechy. It can be really aggressive, it can be acerbic, it can be sharp, and it can turn a lot of people off from the house. But Honey Oud does not have those issues because this one has those other sweet notes in there to kind of temper that oud. So that's gonna be the honey, the amber, and the vanilla. All those combined to give that one a really nice sweet edge to go along with that oud punch. And then you've got that sweet cinnamon spice working in there perfectly as well. Honey Oud is fantastic for fall and winter time, mainly night, but you can wear it during the day as well. Just maybe dial the sprays down a little bit if you're gonna be around a lot of people. Fantastic performance, fantastic fragrance, and that one is my most heavily worn Montblanc of all time. Next up is another fragrance that I bought a decant of because I wanted to see what the hype was all about, and then I ended up buying a whole bottle, which is pretty expensive. It is Bergamot 22 from Labo. You can see right there, compounded in Chicago, 413.17 for gentsscents. Man. This one's got vetiver, grapefruit, orange blossom, and of course bergamot as some of the notes in the fragrance. And this has long been heralded as one of the best bergamot forward fragrances that you can buy. And I love bergamot. So I got a sample of this, I wore it, and I was like, yeah, that's it, that's the thing. And then when I went up to Chicago back in 2017 to catch a Cubs game, I stopped in and got myself a bottle of Bergamot 22. Springtime, summertime, daytime, this smells so good. Refreshing, clean, a little bit sweet and green. So Bergamot 22, sampled it, bought it. This next one is from the House of Royal Crown, and it's not quite as easy to find samples of this house as it is maybe Le Labo or Montblanc. The fragrance is Khan, which makes me think, of course, of William Shatner in Star Trek. Khan! Yeah, that's cringe. Or maybe also Genghis Khan. Could be that too. Unless you watch Deadliest Warrior on Spike TV back in the day, and then it's Genghis Khan. Is that right? Genghis? This one has patchouli, pink pepper, and a bunch of woods in here. Rosewood, gaiac wood, oud wood. This is obviously a wood-centric fragrance. And even though it has all those woods, you know, you might think this is gonna be really rough, abrasive, super dark, but it's actually pretty smooth, even a little bit creamy, and you've got pops of fresh spice in there. Really fantastic for fall and winter, both a day or nighttime fragrance, and one that you can wear casually or formally. Really versatile, much more than you might think. Next up is a fragrance from BDK Parfums, and this one, when I very first sampled it, I thought it was good, I thought it was pretty good, but not great. You know, I thought it was okay. And then I wore it more, and this is, again, one of the times that samples can come in handy, because you might spray something on in a store once and be like, it's okay. But then if you go back to it, you'll go, wait, this is actually really good. It's growing on me. That's what happened with this one. It is Gris Charnel. It has fig, cardamom, iris, and black tea, along with sandalwood as some of the notes in the fragrance. And this one is fantastic for spring and fall. And I think that coloration is just great on this one. This one has fig, cardamom, iris, and black tea, along with sandalwood as some of the notes in the fragrance. You've got a lot going on in here. You've got powdery facets, sweet facets, fruity facets, a little bit of a green facet, a creamy facet, lots of facets. This one is unisex, easily worn by a man or a woman. Fantastic daytime fragrance, spring and fall, especially kind of neutral weather situations. This one is the fragrance from the house that gets talked about the most, along with Rouge Smoking. Rouge Smoking I loved right away. That one I didn't really need to sample. This one though, had to grow on me. Next up, a fragrance from Tom Ford, Costa Azura. Now this one I got in those little 4 milliliter like tiny bottles that you can get at Tom Ford counters, or you used to be able to get them. I don't know if they still do those, but you could go up and say, hey, can I get this or this? Especially if you bought a bottle, it would make up a bunch of them. And that's where I sampled this from. This one has driftwood, seaweed, oak, and lemon as some of the notes in the fragrance. And recently, Costa Azura has moved over to the signature line of fragrances from Tom Ford. So no longer a private blend. This one has long been my favorite in this line of private blend fragrances though. I like it more than Neroli Portofino. I like it more than Mandarino di Amalfi. I think it just has a little more character to it. And it's those kind of sea notes mixed with the more prominent woody notes in that fragrance that I really like, that I really get drawn to more so than the white florals that you'll find in the others. It is a little more divisive than those other fragrances though, Neroli Portofino and Mandarino di Amalfi. I think those ones are more accessible to more people, but this one I think has more character. All right, next up we got this bad boy, Mugler Cologne. Now this one I actually sampled a long time ago. I got little sample sprays of it. I was looking for a new fresh fragrance, and this one did it for me. And I have always had a bottle since then. I used to have 100 ml bottles, the little spray ones that were kind of long and slender. And once I used those up, I got this big boy right here. You gotta love that kind of neon green coloration here too. Little Ninja Turtle action. It's got Neroli, bergamot, petitgrain, and musk. This one is very soapy, like a green soap, very clean, very fresh. Great springtime fragrance and summertime fragrance as well. You can wear this casually, wear this to the office, basically wear it anywhere because nobody's ever going to think that this smells bad. This isn't one that really had to grow on me. More so I just had to try it. The first time I tried it, I went, yep, I'll take it. And Creed did the same thing with Original Vetiver. They smelled it and they went, yep, I'll take it. I'm gonna make my own version. No, Original Vetiver by Creed is not the exact same as Mugler Cologne, but it's close enough that you know what they were doing, you know. Now this next one is one that I got from my friend as a sample. And then when the opportunity presented itself to buy a bottle, I did. It is Hyl No To Yuzu. This one has yuzu, grapefruit, seaweed, and sea salt as some of the notes in the fragrance. And it's gonna give you a very tart, realistic citrus, a little bit rindy, along with a very oceanic vibe. So you're gonna get that ocean air. You're gonna get that sea salt kind of blowing into your face. And you're also gonna get a little bit of that brininess from the ocean water. That may not sound amazing, but it is. This stuff is great, really brisk, very refreshing, and at the same time has an edge to it. That one is one of the better fragrances from Hyl. I think everybody out there that enjoys those kind of oceanic fragrances should check that out. Next, Versace Oud Noir, one of my favorites from Versace. Talk about this pretty often. I bought 10 samples of this, of official carded samples, and I went through all 10, and then I bought this bottle at full retail. And I still love it. And now there's talk that this could be discontinued. Why? Why would you do that, Versace? What's wrong with you? First you discontinue Versace, man. You discontinue Versace Versus. You're gonna do that to Oud Noir? Something wrong with you. You got issues. This has oud, saffron, cardamom, and black pepper. That's some of the notes in the fragrance. And people will sometimes compare this to Tom Ford's Oud Wood. Bring that up a lot. But I feel like you kind of have to touch on it anytime you bring this fragrance up. There's a bit of a similarity. Definitely they go their own ways, but when you spray it on, there's a little bit of a similarity. And actually, there's a big similarity between this and Versace Man, the discontinued fragrance in the opening. The oud in this fragrance is not too aggressive. It's got these nice, sweet, sexy spices, fantastic in fall and winter time, and also office safe. I wore this to the office countless times. Up next is a fragrance that you all know. It is Dior Sauvage. This one has bergamot, ambroxan, Sichuan pepper, and black pepper, some of the notes in the fragrance. This one I actually first smelled in a magazine. Yeah, I think it was like GQ. I'm not even subscribed to GQ, but it showed up in the mail and I was like, okay. I flipped through it. This was when Sauvage was brand new. And they had one of those little like stickers that you can peel and smell the fragrance. So anyway, they had that and I was Johnny Depp on the page there and I lifted up the little sticker and like dabbed my finger on the little fragrance thing and gave it a smell. And I thought to myself, it's actually really good. I thought that is super appealing and I'm gonna be able to wear that pretty much anywhere. And then I went to my local Belk and bought this. And around that time is when Sauvage was really catching some heat online. People were throwing a bunch of hate at it. But from the first time I smelled it, I really thought that it was very appealing. Just a super easy to wear kind of fragrance. You know, not trying to be super artistic or anything, obviously, but just because of the wearability factor and how good it smelled, I went and bought it. Last up, Valentino Uomo. Tried this one out in a Nordstrom when I was on vacation and loved it right away. Obvious similarities to the Dior Homme line, but still a great fragrance. Hazelnut, chocolate, leather, and coffee. Some of the notes in this. That sounds good to me. I know it sounds good to you too. Unfortunately, Valentino nowadays going a different direction. We've got Valentino Uomo Born in Roma, which is Valentino Uomo Invictus. And then we have Valentino Uomo Born in Roma Yellow Dream, which is such a terrible name. And that is Valentino Uomo Stronger with You. Back when this came out, Valentino was kind of forging their own line, taking a little bit of an inspiration from the Dior Homme line and doing its own thing with it. And the fragrances that came out originally in that Valentino Uomo line were so good. And when I first smelled this one, I had to have it right away. And I love that presentation as well. So there we go, 10 different fragrances I fell in love with through sampling, one way or another. Whether it was a little carded sample, a decant I bought, or something I got from my friend. Let me know in the comments below some of the fragrances that you fell in love with through sampling and had to pick up a bottle of. Again, I will link each one of these fragrances at ScentSplit.com, which is a fantastic place to buy decants and samples so that you can check things out before you buy them. As always, thanks for hanging out with me today. Thanks for all your support. Stay safe out there, and I'll see you guys tomorrow with another fragrance video. See you guys later.